Hey guys, happy ACT is done with week. Hope you guys are feeling good about it. I was going to do a live class this week, but I think I've got a meeting, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So, in case that can't happen, because I've got this meeting with the IB people, I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I had something up. I'm not throwing a lot on your plate this week because I know it's been a really stressful week, and I know a lot of you are trying to catch up with things. I also know that it's in the midst of college application season, and really TOK is winding down, right? We're in our last area of knowledge right now, so as long as we're kind of moving forward, I'm feeling relatively okay about it. I'm going to try my best to finish up. Religious knowledge systems probably in the next 2 weeks if it's at all possible. Again, so that way we can hopefully by Thanksgiving. So that way after Thanksgiving and before Christmas we can just work on the TOK presentations and get those done before Christmas, and then we're solid, right? And then we are totally good to go. And then outside of our TOK essay, which we'll work on after Christmas, the course is done. It just becomes a study hall basically. One less thing for you to have to worry about each week. So, for right now, though, what I want you guys to do on this last day of the week, because we've only got, I mean, this was a short week, so I didn't want to throw in a whole lot else, right? So, what I want you to do is last week I asked you guys to do a comparative mythology assignment, right? A lot of you guys had some really interesting reactions to that video that I posted last week, and I'm really excited to get together live so that way we can talk about them. This is actually one of my favorite things to start talking about. Because I do think that there's so much surprising that is like happening here, and some of you guys had some really interesting reactions. Some of you were at least a little bit this GIF, right? And then I asked you to do some investigations into some comparative myths on your own, right? I asked you, gave each of you a myth to kind of look into and do, right? Those were here, right? And then I asked you to post your presentation in the discussion right here in these comparative mythology presentations. And look at that. There they are. So, this week, all I'm going to ask you to do is go watch some of these. And what I want you to do is I want you to watch 3 of them, all right? And when you watch them, I only want you to answer these 3 questions, right? Nothing serious here. Again, I'm not trying to add a whole lot more, right? I'm just trying to give us a chance to engage here, right? So I just want you to answer these 3 questions. What you learned, what anything that you found surprising, and then how these ideas relate to your own personal belief systems or belief systems in your culture or maybe belief systems in your family. One of the nice things about religious knowledge systems as opposed to something like the sciences or things like that is much like the art, it gives us a lot of room to bring ourselves to the conversations, right? And I think I know that a lot of teachers are wanting to avoid that and they're all scared of it, but I think that's super important. I want you to bring yourself to these conversations. Any talk about religion especially is going to be personal. Even if you are not religious, you still have very strong personal feelings about religions, and that's why you're not religious, right? And so creating a space to have a dialogue and to talk about how these ideas intersect with your own belief systems and stuff is important. So I just want you 3 of these, answer these 3 questions. I would like them to be more than a couple word each answers, please. Please be respectful of the people that put in the effort into these presentations. All right. And then that's it. And then I'm going to grade your assignment this week is basically you're responding to those other students' presentations. All right. And then that'll be that. Next week, we're going to get a bit more in depth into religions. We're going to look at how religious knowledge is like generated, right? Because that's a weird thing to think about, right? Like, how do you generate knowledge about the unknowable, right? That's a funny thing. So we're going to talk about that some, and we're going to talk about how we go about understanding things that are beyond human understanding and human comprehension. And then we're going to talk about the intersectionality of religion and ethics, and if it is possible to have ethics without having religion. Then we're going to talk about whether or not atheism is a religious knowledge system in and of itself. I'm going to try and get my friend Zach who is a theologian who went to Yale Divinity School, to have a talk with us. So that way maybe we can get his perspective on religious development. And so yeah, and so that'll be that. But for this week, I just want you to come in here, do your responses to those comparative mythology presentations from last week. All right, and then that'll be that. All right, and that'll be that for this week, because really it was just a 1 day week for us. All right, it was just a single day because you guys had the ACT. So beyond that, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you felt good about the test. If not, it's just a test. You can always take it again. And the ACT is measuring such a small sliver of what you actually are as a person that I really wouldn't stress it out that much. A great ACT score doesn't have anything to do with a great person. Nor does it have anything to do with further success. Some of my most successful students from previous years did not have great ACT scores, and some of my students that had the highest ACT scores have turned out to be staggering failures. So please don't think that that a single score or a single test is really all that indicative of who you are as a person, or what your future is, or what your value or worth is. You are you, and that is enough. All right, and that doesn't mean to not. It doesn't mean to get complacent and to not work on being better, but be peaceful in just where you are. All right, because we're all in a weird place right now, anyways. Those of you that are 18, go vote. Go vote early. Voting is already open. Swing by the library. It takes you 10 minutes. Go in there, stand in line, go vote. No rush. Why not do it? Go vote. It's a really important election, maybe the most important of your lifetime, especially if you're a person of color. You should probably go vote. All right. Don't care who you vote for. Don't care but you need to engage in the civic. You need to engage in the civic exercise and in democracy, especially because people think about voting and they think of presidents, but that's not the only thing that voting is about. There's a lot of stuff on this ballot, especially for Nashville, like a tax increase that's going to keep our city afloat and fund schools and public transport and a bunch of other stuff, but also cost property tax but also cost property owners a lot of money. There's just all kinds of stuff that needs to be considered. So please go vote. All right, and that's it. That's all I got for you. Bye.